Good,
I would say
two good
just like
ones.
apply for it. Like I feel like a lot of us
Yep.
get into our
Yeah.
head and we're like, we don't have that on our resume yet. We're gonna get turned down automatically. When no,
Thank you,
like
Courtney, for your time today. Really appreciate it. Would you tell me a little bit about yourself?
sure. Well, thank you, Yang, first of all. So yeah, I am a product manager at Amazon on the deals team, and originally from Dallas, Texas, and went to school at University of North Carolina. So actually, Yang, we share an alma mater, although I did
Yes.
my undergrad there, you did your MBA
MBA.
there.
Yep.
Um, After UNC, I went to New York directly and I worked at an economics research firm for a year and a half. Then I joined a tech startup and was fortunate enough to see that company go public. And that was a very cool experience. Right after that, I went to get my MBA and I did that at Cornell Tech. And then I joined Amazon right afterwards as part of the MBA recruiting process. So I've been in Seattle now for a little over 2 years, and this is my second role at
Okay.
Amazon.
So can you tell me a little bit about your process of getting into the company? I think you mentioned something about like coming in as like a, MBA hire after, graduating from the school.
Sure. So Amazon and a lot of companies do this, but they do student program hiring. And so Amazon did their tour around all of the MBA campuses and they came to Cornell and we listened to the different types of rotational programs that they offered for incoming MBA students. So they went over the retail leadership development program, the finance development program, and the product management
Hmm.
program. That was more for the AWS side. And my experience had lended itself well to the retail leadership development program. And so while that tour was in fall semester, they finally started doing interviews and hiring in the spring. And so they reached out. You first had to do like a test of sorts online, just quality checks, I guess. And then they slotted you into a 4 hour interview. So they were four back-to-back interviews. And then you got your answer within a couple weeks and you were slotted into um, one of four positions. So vendor manager, marketing manager, in-stock manager, or category merchant manager slash product manager. And I got vendor manager. So I don't think we had a say. I didn't get a say in what I
Yeah, that was that
was
was that
slotted
was
into.
my next question actually. Were you able to basically say what you wanted to do?
I think the people who had interned at Amazon got to
Hmm.
pick, or at least they had experience with the team that then
Hmm.
offered them the role. So they could say,
Hmm.
like, yes, I'd love to stay on your team.
Yep.
I did Cornell Tech, which was a 1 year MBA. So I did not
Ah,
do any type of internship. So I was starting off from scratch and I had no choice. There was no, fill in a bubble or what are your interests? It was just
yeah.
here's a vendor manager. Would you like to accept or no? And you didn't even know which team you
Yeah.
started on until a
Yeah.
week before you started. And so I got a call from my manager the week before my first day. And he was like, guess what? You're on the video games team. And I was like, okay,
Yep, I'll
I've
take
never
it.
played a video game in my life, but here we go.
Yep. 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 Classic Amazon, I think. Um, so not on the question list, but why from a vendor manager to a product manager?
Yeah, great question. I had always wanted to pivot into product management. So, my work at the tech company previous to my MBA, I was a technical account manager and did more of customer success operations. And I wanted to pivot into product management. And the Cornell Tech MBA actually focuses on product management and startups. So, I wanted to
Hmm.
get that MBA experience that focused
Hmm.
really on those courses and learned a lot from my peers who are incoming as product managers themselves. And so I knew getting into the RLD program, there was an opportunity to even start as a product manager,
Hmm.
or you could really find your way to a product management role.
Hmm.
So I personally wanted to work more internally with Amazon teams instead of vendors. Um, don't worry, I love the vendors a lot, but I saw that I would be able to make so many more improvements.
Mm-hmm.
And I had so much more white space
Mm-hmm.
working with internal teams
Mm-hmm.
and putting together processes to eliminate pain
Makes
points,
sense.
especially on the deals side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, natural next question. So you said you're the product manager for the deals team. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do, like what your day to day looks like and all that?
Sure. So I guess to put it simply, I lead the deal sourcing efforts for the US hard lines categories
Mm-hmm.
for the high velocity events. And so at Amazon high velocity events, that's going to be Prime Day and holiday. And leading those deal sourcing efforts across the hard lines categories, hard lines, anything from personal computers and video games to sports and outdoors equipment or major appliances or even toys. So spans the gamut. There are about 25 different categories there. And I work with those categories to make sure they're working with their vendors to source deals and negotiate funding so that we can have an amazing today's deals page on Amazon. So if you go from the home page and click on today's deals, you can see all of the deals that are
Yep.
live.
Yep.
So
Make sure to go check it out.
please
Uh,
do. It's Q4 now, so check out
yes.
those holiday deals.
Yep. Um, I guess
I can go
so.
more
In
into
my
day to
mind, what
day if you want
what's
me
that?
to. I can go more into day to day as
No,
well.
no, no. I actually was gonna ask you more so around. So it seems like like it kind of is not a product management role that I was kind of thinking about, or the audience might be thinking about. When we think about product management, we kind of think about like having one specific feature or one
Hmm.
specific actual like physical product. For example, I did smartphone product management when I was back in the day, like working in smartphone companies, like basically like everything around launching and stuff was my task. So can you tell me a little bit about like, I guess what's the like why is it called product management, and then like what's the product management aspect of the job is?
Sure. So instead of having one product or one feature that I'm concentrating on, it's all of the products, the tools, and the features that touch deals. And so I manage the business requirements from the retail side and write those requirements into the roadmap of all the different tools that touch deals. So it's the deal creation system internally at
Mm,
Amazon, it's the CX features, how the deals actually show, and then it's all of the reporting and tooling features that are also internally. So it's every day is different
mm-hmm.
because while it's leading deal sourcing efforts can touch many different
Yeah,
many
yeah,
different teams and many different ranges, it's the product management part of that is the business requirements
gotcha.
and writing the roadmap for what needs to get done for this tool here to there. But yeah, since it touches a lot of different teams, it's more so writing the requirements for all of those different tools that our end users
Mm-hmm,
use.
mm-hmm. So, I mean, you've been in retail just right before this role, but I'm assuming that this was your first product management position.
Yes.
Kind of wanted to learn what are the learning curves that you had, and if so, like how did you actually mitigate? Like how did you actually came out of it?
Sure. So the learning curve is very steep. And I'm not sure that's just like a vendor manager to product manager role. I don't think that learning curve was that steep. Like,
Mm-hmm,
yes, there are new processes you follow and new tools you have to learn.
mm-hmm.
It was more so the learning curve was steep for my actual role and what it was at Amazon and
Uh-huh.
the different teams that I
Uh-huh.
interact with. So going from managing three big vendors, you know your end stakeholders, they're those vendors,
Mm-hmm.
and you might touch one or two internal teams at Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
But then in this product management role, it was okay, there are 7, 8 different teams I'm having to interact with, learn those processes.
Yeah.
And I think the learning curve is really like getting in sync and understanding what each team is talking about, what their
Yeah.
priorities are,
Yeah.
and then how can I learn to influence them and
Uh-huh.
say, okay, well, deals priorities need to fit up here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so it's a lot of influencing, especially with ambiguous content.
Yeah. Yeah. The working cross-functionally, especially in like a big tech company like Amazon, is definitely something um challenging for sure when it comes especially when it's a new role. Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, so what do you like the most about your role? And if possible, what's probably the least part that you like about your role?
Sure. I love writing the requirements
Mm,
for the tools that we call them deal SMEs, but they're a SME is a subject matter expert.
mm-hmm,
And so writing the requirements with them in mind, they're my end users. How are they actually going to use this tool? How does it need to work? We need to create this type of deal in order
mm-hmm,
for it to show on this deals page. So like I like outlining what this product needs to include in
mm-hmm,
order for it to be a success, and kind of taking a step back and say, okay, not only does it need to work for my end stakeholders,
mm-hmm,
which are vendor managers who are
mm-hmm,
sourcing the deals and putting them into the system, but it also needs to work for the customer's view too. The customer is coming to Amazon and they don't know the difference between a deal versus an event versus
yeah.
they just want to buy a great product. And so how are they going to be sourced? Like
Mm-hmm,
it, making it more of a smooth transition. So trying to look at it from both perspectives and then writing a document that includes those requirements. I'd say that's the highlight of the
what you
product
do.
manager
Yeah.
role for deals.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Did you ask about lowlights? I can answer that. It's
Yeah.
fine.
I did.
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
I would say it's just like I would probably the fire drills like during the high velocity events when you're up for a while and you're making sure deals go live and troubleshooting issues. It's exhilarating, but it's also exhausting. So that's the
Yeah.
you want to make
Yeah.
sure everything goes perfectly, especially for the consumer at the end of the day. And so it's
Yeah.
just an all hands on deck type of feel.
Yeah, especially in a high impact environment company like Amazon, it's like one small change or mistake really does impact customer experience. So totally get it.
Yeah,
Um,
a lot of eyeballs on the site.
a lot,
And
lot of
rightfully so. They
a
want
lot,
to,
lot of
they want
eyeballs
to
for
buy
sure.
the great
Yeah,
deals and everything.
yeah, yep. Make sure to go check out deals on Amazon.
Please do.
um, So my last question is advice for those who want to get into product management without the experience.
Sure. Do we want this in terms of Amazon or just maybe in general?
Just general.
General?
Yeah.
I would say okay, in general, take on a stretch project, no matter what your role is at the current time, and try to, I don't want to say insert yourself, but offer your help. People
Mm,
are swamped. They have so many projects that probably need help, need you to do something. And if you're willing to step in and help take charge, you'll be able to learn how to create a roadmap, work backwards from a date, write requirements, and you're probably also building bridges across your own company because that person you're helping is, your help is so valuable to them. So I would say take on a stretch project, and then that gives you something on your resume to show, like, okay, yes, my title at this company might not be product manager, but I've done this work and
mm-hmm,
I've contributed this and I delivered XYZ.
mm-hmm,
So I would do that. I took the MBA route. So
mm-hmm,
if you're still at a time in your career where you're trying to pivot, you're
mm-hmm,
looking at different opportunities, I really liked the MBA route.
mm-hmm,
Again, my MBA was only 1 year, so it
mm-hmm,
was quick. While I didn't have an internship, I felt like I had enough experience coming into it and coursework experience that I was able to leverage that, to get a role that I knew would eventually lead me to product manager. And then I would say if you're trying to transition within your company, um, again, working with that product management team and trying to think of other advice besides MBA and stretch projects.
I think those are
I would say
two good
just like
ones.
apply for it. Like I feel like a lot of us
Yeah.
get into our
Yeah.
head and we're like, we don't have that on our resume yet. Like it's not gonna,
Yeah.
we're gonna get turned down automatically. When no, like I would also, it's easier, I think, to go into a program manager role.
Hmm.
And from there, once you have that experience for 8 to 12 months, try and transition into a product role.
Makes total sense. Yeah. Hey, Courtney, that was it for today. Wasn't that bad, right?
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved it. Thanks,
Thank
y'all.
you so much for your time and your insights. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you.